Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, good evening, everyone at Motherhood. Welcome and welcome to each one of you at Motherhood Club, and especially the lovely ladies. The month we are celebrating Women's Day, Poetry Day, and a lot of interesting stuff. But for now, I am going to keep my focus on celebrating women. The theme for this year is hashtag inspire inclusion. What does that mean to each one of us? Well, we will interpret it in a different way, the way we like it. How do I look at it? I look at it as Motherhood Club. And why do I say that? Because perhaps we were a little visionary. We thought about inspire inclusion about 5 years back. And this is what we have created for ourselves, where we find it a safe space, a place to encourage and motivate each other, and a lot. But today, I'm not here to talk about motherhood now, but we will be speaking and engaging with a woman of substance, a woman who has played different roles beautifully and truly, to my mind, personifies inspire inclusion. So, for everyone, today our guest is Miss Punarnava Saha, or Nava, as we all call her lovingly. She is a professional, a woman leader, a mother, a daughter, and above all, someone who has been inspiring women and the current organization that she leads very proudly also encourages women. And if I'm not wrong, 70 to 80% of the staff is a woman out there. So, hi Nava, how are you doing?
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much, Ekta, for having me here. Good evening and namaskar.
Good
So, I'm doing
evening.
fine. How are you guys? How are you, ladies out there, beautiful girls out there?
Everyone, I'm sure, is doing wonderful. And I guess the weather is also transiting. Little bit of summer is setting in, though it's a little cloudy in my part of the country. And very intentionally, Nawa, I have not read out your profile that you shared. We have shared that on our platform. And if I continue to speak about you, I don't think I can do justice to all that you have done till now and created that, those jewels for yourself. And let me tell everyone, besides being a women leader, a mother, and leading an organization, she also pursues her passion towards jewelry, saris, and a lot more. So, Nava, why don't you introduce yourself to all our viewers? We have a lot of people who have joined in who are eagerly wanting to know more about you. Before I start asking you more questions, to know more, to know you even more than what I already know. So, let's hear it from you. Who is Nava?
Okay, I think Nava is somebody who's work in progress. I don't believe that I have reached where I intended to reach. I think when I started out, and I come from a very small village in Jharkhand, and today I am in Vadodara. So a lot of people say you've reached where you wanted to reach, and I manage a company of 300 people. Like you said, the majority of it is women, and I proudly say that when the industry average is like 7 or 8%, we hire. Uh, we consciously, and also because women are the best choice for the job and the role, we hire anywhere between 55 to 65% women in the company. But would still say that I don't feel like I have reached somewhere. I think I'm work in progress as a woman and as a mother.
Super. So, let me tell everyone that Nava has a how should I put it? As she very modestly said, that she hails from a small town place, but her thought process is not small town. She thinks differently. And as she said, that close to 55 to 60% of the women or the people in her organization are women, which is commendable. So, Nawa, before we talk about your role as a women leader or even as a mother, I think it is important for everyone to know how and who Nava was when she was a child. Because I very firmly believe that हमारी जो foundation होती है ना, वो बचपन में ले हो जाती है. And then gradually we build upon it. Of course, we keep learning and unlearning, and very beautifully put by you that you're work in progress. But that work in progress started many years back. So, how was she as a child? How were her growing years? Um, did something happen in your growing years that has formed you, has brought this Nava in front of us?
Um, so there are a lot of equation that happens in everybody's life, and some of the risks that we take or we do not take builds us to where we are. But to touch upon briefly on what you asked, I come from a very small town in Jharkhand. Till last 3 years, we still used to use woods for cooking food till our Pradhan Mantri ji brought about the whole change in the way women now use cylinders in our villages. Um, but I did my studies from Ranchi. Everybody now knows Ranchi because of Dhoni. But when I was growing up, it was a small town with with a lot of importance to education, though that kind of happened in Ranchi itself. My mom and my dad both were professors, so the importance of studies were kind of very ingrained in me. I finished my schooling and my college there. I did my BCom and I also did my CS over there. I did my law over there in Chhatnagpur Law College, which is absolutely unknown to most people. And I kept on studying because if I didn't study, they would probably find a reason to marry me off. And I needed to, get married a little late. Anyway, I did get married and I came to Bombay. And Bombay is a city of opportunities, truly, meaning if you have the ability to prove yourself, Bombay has the graciousness to offer you the right role and the right, recognition for anybody and everybody. So even though I came from Ranchi and I was extremely introvert as a child and was not always very confident as an adult human being also after I came to Bombay, I always felt I didn't I wasn't smart enough. I didn't have the personality. And I'm sure a lot of us, and I'm talking about it because I've seen a lot of women feel that way. They feel they are inadequate. So, uh, don't get me wrong, most of us feel that way. And it shouldn't be a reason for you not to grow. We have to grow in spite of it. The best thing about Bombay, like I said, it's a city of opportunities. I worked for some of the best names there, Citibank, Philippine India, and then ICICI. I think there's no bigger name than ICICI. And I was never judged by what organization I did my studies from or what marks I scored. What is important is you're able to show that you have the fire in the belly and you have the ability to solve a problem. I think that's Bombay for you. So that's my karma bhumi, so to say. And then I got this opportunity to start a company in Baroda. It was a huge leap from the senior manager in ICICI Prudential legal department to being a woman coming to a city that I have never been to, moving to Baroda and starting a company there. We started with 20 people. Today, my first company that I started is one of the biggest BPOs in Baroda. This is
Wow.
my third venture, the one that I'm working now. and my second KPO. We deal in legal outsourcing. It's very niche, it's complicated subject, and like I tell my bosses in US, Indians do brain surgery. I'm sure we can do some outsourcing work, right?
Absolutely. So I'm going to pause you here. You've taken lots of leaps. I'm going to bring in a little bit more and perhaps try to read between the lines. So you mentioned that a small place, Ranchi, which obviously known for Dhoni and some of the other people that we know from that city. Back then, I'm sure the quality of education, or perhaps a state or a city which would not be very conversant with the English language. And I see that you are very, very fluent, proper diction, proper accent. How did this happen? You mentioned that both your parents were from the education industry. So I have no, two thoughts about it, that they would have actually spent a lot of effort and time in your education. However, that time was different. They wanted the girls married off. And yes, as you mentioned, Ela is also saying that, a lot of women during that time would use education a way to get away from being married, right? So, that refinedness that you spoke about. Yes, Bombay is very gracious. I have also worked there. And in fact, 8 years of my working career was in Bombay. And before that, also as a child, I stayed there. I also happened to work with Citi, not with the bank, but with their wealth management arm. So, yes, some of the names that you mentioned are wonderful names, names that people, would normally sort go after to work. But in order to our country or the world perceives language as a very important aspect. So did you consciously work upon that, or did it came naturally to you, or did you start speaking in the language once you moved to Mumbai, or how was that period for you?
Sure. So, yes, both my parents were professors, and they obviously knew the importance of education. I would give a lot of credit to my mom in identifying that, she needed to have me in an English medium school for me to, be more life prepared, as you say. Um, I'd also want to put it out there that my mom's monthly income at that point in time was 2,000 rupees. This is 80s I'm talking about. And of that, 1,200 rupees used to go towards my education. So more than 60% of her income would go towards my education, and the entire household would run on the balance amount. So unless I would call her visionary, meaning I did not come from a family where if they had two kids, they wouldn't have been able to afford this, as you understand. But because I was the only child and I lost my dad when I was 8, mom kind of put her everything into preparing me for the life that I am going to have tomorrow. So yes, I studied in a school called Bishop Westcott Girls School. It was a convent school, one of the good schools in Ranchi. But I would really say that she saw the potential of English. And I'm not saying that the potential doesn't lie with people who have an education in Hindi medium, but my life changed because I work for an American company. My life changed because I learned the language well. Also, coupled with the fact that both my parents were professors, so there were always books all around the house. I had a lot of access to a lot of books and reading. My grandmother was also educated, so she helped me spend a lot of time with the books. So yes, that was it. And of course, once you land up in Bombay, you kind of refine
Yeah,
yourself.
the city gets on to you actually.
Yes, you did.
But this is so lovely that you mentioned that your grandmom was educated and she also helped you. What I think it was a rare phenomena in that time where our grandparents' generation, was educated, or they could actually assist us or support us to kind of, nurture and groom us. Wonderful. So Nava, moving on to your, you grew up and then you moved to Bombay after you got married.
I did.
Right. Yes. Now, married life is very different from the carefree life that we live, as a single person, be it a boy or a girl. Suddenly you transit to being a man and a woman. So, new place, marriage, everything is so new, right?
Yes,
How
it
was
is.
that phase of life? You know, I think that holds a lot of importance in anybody's life because that kind of you know brings in new dimensions to one's life. So how was that phase of your life?
So, Ekta, I think everything that we are today is a culmination of the good and the bad that we see in life. Um, and my life was as challenging or as not so challenging like everybody else's is. You're right. Coming from arranged marriage, you don't know the person well. Um, it's a new life, it's a new city. You don't have friends. Your husband's friends and their wives are not really your friends. Um, you're trying to make a career out of yourself in a city that you have not grown up in. You're also staying and spending a life with somebody that you have never spent your life with and may have absolutely different, behavioral aspects than what you have grown up with. So, among the good, the bad, and the ugly, marriage has given me my son, Vihan, um, around whom my life revolves around. So, I would say that for the sake of Vihan, I think everything else is acceptable and part and parcel of life. Yes, I was working. Bombay, you have to work. I don't think anybody alone can make a life in Bombay. In 2005, my son was born, and he was born and later on identified as somebody with a bit of a learning disability. Can I show a picture of my son, if you allow me?
Sure.
Okay, give me a second. Let me see if I can.
So, so while Nava is going to share her son's picture, a warm welcome to everyone who's watching us across three platforms: Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And some very nice comments are also coming your way, which I will read once we show you Vehan's picture.
So, if you can see the image on my screen that's behind for you, is it coming up?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, that's my really adorable son, Vihan. He is 19 now, and so Vihan was born, and motherhood, I believe, is the best thing that happens to most of us. And again, motherhood is not easy. It comes with its own set of challenges, especially because Bihan was identified with having learning disability early on. Um, One of the reasons that I moved to Vadodara, apart from the fact that having this awesome opportunity to start a company, was that Baroda gives me the ability to spend quality time with my son, which would otherwise get lost in Bombay because you travel long distances over there. So I moved on to Baroda, which is not very far from Bombay. So it does have a flavor of a small city with big city amenities. And I reach office in 3 minutes. So you can understand
Wow.
that.
Wow, that's luxury.
It indeed is.
Amazing, amazing.
It
So let me pause you here, Nava. So before we move further, let me read out a few comments. Okay. Where should I start from? Yes, so as I was mentioning that the way you said about the education, Ila concurred with you, and Shweta Sundar say that I agree with Nava and Ila about education and its importance. Uh, Sangeeta is saying hi. So Sangeeta also says that women are just amazing and how we manage things and stretch the rupee, inspire our children and give them motivation is just amazing. Books are good friends, as what Anjuji is saying. And then we have Kamalji who's saying, I better wear my specs because I cannot see clearly. पहले बहुत कम लोग ये जानते थे कि पढ़ना आगे बढ़ना जिंदगी की मुश्किलों से हौसले से लड़ना आप खुशनसीब हैं कि आपको एक अच्छा माहौल मिला Tapasya is saying that I remember my Dadaji always referring Hindi to English dictionary while reading an English newspaper. And Suraksha ji is saying that very inspiring journey of yours till now, whatever she's heard. And at the same time, she expresses her condolences or, is concerned that you lost your dad at a very young age. Tapasya says her son and your son are pretty much the same age. And Kamalji says that an educated woman always nurture well her children and imbibe good values in them. Absolutely, I agree with each one of them. So, Nava, you mentioned that you moved from Mumbai to Baroda, not so far. Most of us are aware, and as you said, that while it's a small town, but it provides you with all the amenities and the facility. And you also mentioned that you took that decision to move to Baroda because it allowed you or gave you that bandwidth to spend that quality time with Vihar.
That's
And
right.
he also mentioned that he has special needs. He has special requirement. There is, learning disability that he experiences.
That's
Moving
right.
from a city to another city where it's completely unknown, from Bihar to Maharashtra, and from there you move to Gujarat, starting up a new company, uh, managing a child which has special requirement. How did you do all of this? And when you moved, you know, uh, it was your career decision.
That's right.
When normally when the spouse moves, the whole family moves. And by spouse here, I mean the husband. Did that also happen when you moved cities with that opportunity that came your way?
No, that didn't happen, Ekta. So I had to take a tough choice between my son and my husband. So yes, I moved with my son to Baroda. Over time, I did lose my husband as well. I lost him to uh, his brain stroke, but no, Deepak didn't move with me. Um, but you know what? It may sound overwhelming when you say single handedly managing an office, a home, a new job, a new city. When you do it, it isn't that overwhelming. You just do it because it has to be done. You have to do it. Whether there's somebody standing beside you or not, you have to do it. You are the primary caretaker of your kid. And there's no way you can delegate that responsibility to anybody else, right? So I think हो जाता है, कर लेते हैं हम. We women are really strong that way. Uh, we manage, we do it, and we do it with lot of pride and a lot of ability to sustain a lot of things. Um, I don't think I made compromises in my life in terms of how I brought up Vihan or how I brought up my company. And whoever sees Vihan now says that they feel that he's come out to be a nice boy. Um, Let me try and show you one more picture if it's possible.
Surely.
Um,
While you
does
do
it
that,
come? Okay,
I'm waiting for it to pop up. Yes.
okay. Um, this is him now. I
We
don't know
cannot
if
see
you
the
could.
picture very clearly. Actually, it's not
Okay,
there.
okay, okay. Let me try to see if I did it come up.
Not yet. I think you need to re-present it.
Okay, let me see if I
Yeah.
can represent it.
While you do that, the Pasya says only a strong woman can be so humble. And Shweta says, I agree with the Pasya. So when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Absolutely. I completely agree. And I would also say that, these are the lines by in Robert Frost that it says that two roads diverge into wood, and I took the one that is less traveled by, and that has made the difference. And this quote has stayed with me for as long as my working career, and I so believe in it that sometimes we do need to take those tough decisions, and at that moment, it perhaps seems the right decision, but one doesn't need to really look back. And when it all falls in place and it shapes up into something as lovely as this, as you all can see Vehan on the screen, you definitely feel that you've taken the right decision. Yes, questions would have popped up in a lot of people's mind that what is Nava doing? You know, has she taken the right decision? Well, I think it's the wearer of the shoe who knows where it pinches the most, and they are the best judge of what needs to be done. So, Nava, you know, thank you for sharing Vihan's pictures here.
Thank you.
Uh, okay, Ila says that I have always admired your bond with Vihan. Shweta is sending her blessings for him. It is, as you rightly said some time back, that motherhood does not come with a rule book, and every day, every moment is fun. It's full of challenges. 1 minute you are happy, the other minute you're either frowning or you are upset or something or the other. And in this whole process, in this whole journey, are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm
In
okay.
this whole
Thank you.
process and in this whole journey, many a times we forget ourselves, right? Because our focus is so much on our child, on our children, to nurture them, to shape them, and we somehow get lost somewhere. But for all these years that I have seen you, you are that woman who has held herself. You've taken good care of him. You've taken good care of yourself. And, I see you doing a lot of things that you like. Professionally, of course, you're doing well. How did you bring this all together for yourself? It's not easy, uh, to take care of a child in such a competitive world where people very callously just say whatever they want to. you know you have to really be very, very strong, have that resilience that doesn't matter, cut the noise. How did you gather
Yes.
yourself? How did you move ahead in nurturing Vihan?
So, Ekta, I think this is a wonderful question and a topic that I'm glad you brought up. Um, you know, like they say in a aircraft that before you help your child, you have to help yourself with the mask, oxygen mask in yourself before you help your child. And I think that is absolutely, absolutely true in life also. Meaning, you know, we are mothers, but we were never taught how to become mothers. We never were given a rule book, like you reminded me, I had said in our conversation. So it's very tough to bring up a child, especially because kids are not really predictable, nor are you yourself. You are going to have your good days and your bad days. And one of the things that really helps is having some time for yourself, whether it's through creativity. And believe me, I took up some of my creative pursuits very late in life, almost as an alternative to returning to an empty house where I could not have an adult conversation. Having a child fills your day, but you still, as an adult, need to have one person that you can go and have a conversation with. And that sometimes was missing in my home and hearth, because I was coming back to nurture people and to take care of them, and there were nobody who could take care of me. Now, when I say that, I learn every day from Bihan. Okay, his ability to struggle with his problems inspires me in every way possible. There is so much of hope when he's able to overcome things. He's not able to get some pronunciation correct, and he tries and he tries. He's not able to do something, and he tries and he tries. And that's very inspiring. It helps me do a lot of things in my professional journey, that I can't give up. There has to be hope. Um, he makes mistakes, but those mistakes don't bog him down. How easily can he bounce back? All of this actually inspires me to have a full life myself. Um, he dreams big. He wants to become things that I know he might never be able to become. But he's not giving up on his dreams. So why should I? So all of this is something that I learn from him, and I take a lot of positivity from him. But what I also feel important is taking some time out for yourself. We will fail. We as mothers are going to not be perfect in every situation. And it's important that we forgive ourselves and take out time, a little bit at least, with our friends. If you want to go travel, travel. Teach your son and daughters to be life ready. Teach them to stay alone. One of the biggest lessons of life is how you can stay alone and travel alone and be alone with yourself. I think all of those helps. I do take time out for myself if need be. You need to give yourself a break. You need to forgive yourself for the time you're not spending with your family and your kids. It's okay to take care of yourself.
Absolutely. And it is, I think it is important, it is imperative that we take care of ourselves. In fact, today only, I was with my friends and we were talking about this only, that, when our child falls ill, we
Mhm.
should go all out to take care of them. But when it comes to ourselves, even if it is as basic as cold, cough, and fever, we tend to ignore. We don't take care of ourselves. And I think we don't realize that by not taking care of ourselves, we're actually building it up. And then when it comes out, hitting us hard, that's the time when neither can you take care of yourself, nor are you in a position to take care of your children. What is the point?
Absolutely.
You are, one way you're trying to teach your child to be independent, to be able to be life ready, as you said. And on the other side, what are you displaying to the child? We tell our kids, you should be healthy, you should do this, you should do that. But as parents, as leaders for them, we are, constantly failing. We are constantly, displaying, pressure and like just too busy, bogged down with so many things. So yes, we need to take our time for ourselves, be it professionally, personally, enjoy, have time. But Nava, that also brings me to a thought that
Hmm.
while you travel, let's say, you
Hmm.
know, someone needs to be there to take care of Rehan. So how
Um,
was that aspect being managed? And in conjunction to that, there was a question that was being asked that if he's studying, in which class is he right now?
okay, let me answer the second one first. Um, so Vihan is 19, but he's appearing for his class 10 exams through NIOS. Uh, Through NIOS, he has to clear 5 papers. He has cleared 4 of them.
Oh, wow.
And English being the most difficult, we kept it for the last, and he's preparing for his English exams. So he's behind on his timelines. And I think one of the thing that has helped me overcome a lot of challenges is the acceptance that he's going to be delayed, and that's okay. Everybody has their own time to bloom, and it's okay not to pass your class 10th at 16 years of age. It's okay to pass it at 19 if that's what it takes your child to do. It's okay to get married at 30, even if you don't get married at 25. It's okay to find a job at 32 if you didn't find it at 22. It's okay to bloom whenever you can bloom. I think that's very important. And I have brought acceptance within myself that if he doesn't pass his class 10 also, and I'm sure he will pass, but even if he doesn't, am I making him life ready? Is he going to drive a two-wheeler? Is he going to be safe on the road? Is he going to be able to cook at least a meal so that he can feed himself if, God forbid, I'm not there? Does he know how to spend money and manage expenses for home? That's what I'm making him ready for. The class 10 is not going to make him ready for that. That a mom would. So that's the answer to your second question. He's in class 10 in terms of professional education, but he's already graduated when it comes to life lessons. I think he's more equipped than many kids. So
Wonderful.
that's a conscious choice I made for him to make him life ready. And that brings to the first question: how does he stay when I'm not there? Now, God has been kind. I do a food, a cook, and a maid. So they are there. If I'm not there, they would at least make sure that he gets his meals. My cook would come and cook for both days. Vihan has known how to heat up the food for a long time now. Since he was 8 years old, I had taught him how to use the microwave. Now he uses the gas as well. He knows how to make the chawal, at least. If there's dal in the fridge, I have not really gone into the nitty gritties of the cooking of making him roti has not been important, but he'll be able to toast his bread, put butter on it, and have it with a banana. So, or he'll be able to make a banana milkshake, so to say. I didn't teach him how to make a Maggie. I didn't think that was important. But he can heat up his milk and he can have his oats and milk. So, what I'm trying to say here is if you know there is no option but to make your son or daughter ready for tomorrow, you will find a way to do that. And Vihan doesn't need anybody to stay with him in the night in case he has to live alone. He manages it himself. For moms and parents who have kids like mine, it's extremely important to have good relation with your neighbors. They are a lot of your support system. It's also important to have friends. It's important to teach your kids who they can call in case of emergency. Um, but then again, they are a part of the life lessons that you teach the kid. Uh, if I'm not there for 8 days, Vihan will still be fine. And if he needs to go out and play, he will call somebody and make sure that the person is free and he will fix up a time and go play with the person. So I don't know if I answered your question in totality or in parts, but that's how it is. He's a very well equipped child.
Wonderful. And I think, that speaks volume about you, because I think a lot of us as parents actually forget how to prepare our child for life. We get so caught up in the rat race of marks that we forget that marks are there, fine, they're part of life, but till a certain point. Beyond a point, those marks don't make a difference. And yes, I think, you mentioned about the fact that do I need to finish my 10th by the time I am whatever 14, 15, 16, 15? Do I need to be married by 27, 28? Who sets these norms? Yes, I understand that from an education point of view there are age that have been set, but then even if you look at the changes that are happening in the education policy, Where earlier a 5-year child went to grade 1, now they have enhanced the age. Perhaps realization that maybe the child is still not ready to kind of, uh, process that information. I wonder how all of us did that. But well, we coped then. The kids currently are also coping, but then the exposure is very different. And for other aspects in life, which rule book says that you need to be married at 23 or 25? Hello, show me that rule book.
Absolutely
I
true.
didn't follow it for sure. Right? I didn't follow it. I mean, I must be the oldest mother in my daughter's class with similar age kids, but that doesn't matter. As long as I am able to provide my child with the right values or the right learning, I think it
Absolutely.
just doesn't matter. It's all in the mind, is the way we perceive it. So, yes, you answered the question beautifully. And it is so, so heartening to see that you are preparing him for a situation that, nobody wants to even think about. So before I go further, there are a lot of comments. I need to read them out. Okay, so I'm just going to move my eyes towards my phone because I can't see the names on my laptop here. So let's go back. Okay. So Anju Pandey says that women become unimaginably strong when it comes to them. Uh, Sweta is saying that Nava, I had written a poem for World Autism Day a couple of years back about a mom and son bond. Wanting to share a few lines, actually, the ending of the poem, which describes your journey so aptly. So I'm going to read those lines that Sweta has shared. He doesn't know to say that he loves her, but he hugs her tightly, and that to her is most divine. The world may judge him for his outbursts and overreactions, his tantrums and wiles, but she knows that he's wired differently and she needs to guide him onwards patiently with a smile. She's tired of pitiful sighs and constant echoes of what will people say. She just holds her head high and fights her way, saying, we will live and love and triumph another day.
Wow.
Very true. Very true. Thank you, Shweta, for sharing this. कमल जी saying ये सब ईश्वरीय कृपा दृढ़ निश्चय और अंतशक्ति से ही संभव होती है. Forgiving yourself, the message that you shared while you were telling us, Tapasya, say that that's a lovely message. So Raksha ji is also agreeing that yes, we as women tend to ignore our health. Being with yourself is a good lesson for all of us, is what Kiranji is saying. It's okay should be the mantra for life. Fill your own cup first. You can't serve from an empty cup, says Sweta. It's good you're slowly and gradually teaching him practical and useful little works, is what Kamalji is saying. Practical thinking of a mother. Suraksha ji is saying, Tapasya is saying it's one of the finest talks I have ever attended. Vihan is lucky to have such a wonderful mentor, come friend, come mother at home. Okay, Tapasya, I'm not reading out. I'm a little embarrassed to read out that comment.
Oh,
Anjuji is
yeah, we
saying,
would love to hear you. I'm sure it's about you. Please, I would love to hear that.
Tapasya saying, no wonder you look so young. Telling me, thank you. Tapasya always thought that I was much younger than the. So, okay, so there's a question that has come for
Sure.
you from Ela. And this question was supposed to be a part of a conversation anyway. Thank you, Ela, for putting it up. She says that, how do you take care of yourself and your emotional well being? You mentioned in your conversation that after you've taken care of the workspace, you're also coming home to take care. You're the primary caretaker for self as well as for Vihan. And we have our own moments of dullness where we are
Lonely.
complete loneliness, tired, that emotional turmoil that we go through. And women, specifically after a certain age, also go through a lot of hormonal changes. How do you take care of that? Mental well being for yourself. And I'll add to this, even for Vehan, as a child, he may understand what the challenges are, but he's still a child who would see around that people my age are doing this, whereas I'm here. I'm sure these kind of questions do pop up in your conversations with him, or it may come up in his head and you would read them and then perhaps guide him like all moms would guide their children. How do you manage all of this, Nava?
So, in parts, let me answer what's been asked. So, I was going through this feeling of extreme loneliness when I picked up my creative hobby of making jewelry. Believe me, doing something creative gives you immense happiness and it takes care of your well being. Once you create anything, it it's unbelievably fulfilling. It is. And no matter how big a company you run, how many times people come and say you're a great leader, um, they are fulfilling too. Don't get me wrong, but when you, I used to do jewelry as a hobby, as you know, Ekta. I've been privileged for you to wear some of my pieces. The fact of the matter is, when you create a earring and Ekta wears it, that's a very different feeling altogether. So the creativity can bring a lot of joy. Having friends is very important. They are great support system. Not all of us are blessed to have great families, but you can definitely have great friends. Um, these are the two things that come up. Over time, what I have done is I pick up one hobby every year. Every year, I choose to do something new and whatever interests me. For example, if it's photography, and I typically do portrait photography. I would love to click a person, the expression they give. So one year that would be a photography, and the next year it would be reading poetry. And poetry can be absolutely fulfilling too, because mm, that's again, being able to understand creativity in its own way. A third year could be something completely different, and it could be Zumba, or it could be dancing, or it could be picking up and doing cycling. Whatever interests you, give it a try for a year, and you just might find A, your creative happiness, B, your alternate profession when you retire, for all you know, or a lot of happiness on the way. So that's one. The second is, yes, Vihan is sometimes made aware of where he lacks. Even if you tell people that my son has a learning disability, people cannot think beyond that box. Okay, so every time you meet somebody, they will say, "कौन से class में पढ़ते हो?" Knowing very well he has a learning disability, knowing very well he has a background that he cannot be competing with people his age. Um, so over a lot of time, Vihan had his own mechanism of countering it by saying, "मैं आपको नहीं बताऊंगा." But I knew every time it pinched him in a way. I think that's when he got mentally ready to try out the NIOS, because for him also it became easier to say, "I'm appearing for my 10th," rather than, somewhere um, not being able to say that he's lagging behind his peers. Now, one thing that I would really want to reiterate, it doesn't matter where in the scale of 1 to 10 your kid falls. In your eyes, he should be a 10. You have to give him that faith and believe and trust that, but yeah, for me, you're a 10. It doesn't matter what the world thinks of you. For me, you are the best child in this whole world. And I think our parents believing in us makes a lot of difference in our lives. And I would say it's very important for every kid, and of course, in a special child's life, their parents believing in them.
So, do you also apprise him that the the challenges that he has, uh, do you make him aware about it? Is he completely in the know-how of the situation? It's a difficult conversation. So do that?
I
Do you think
don't
there are
do
things?
it consciously, but he knows about them. For example, and I'll be very honest that I lose my patience at times, meaning I'm human. And so I'm trying to tell him something, and knowingly or unknowingly, there is a bit of irritation that might have crept in. Like I'm trying to teach him something, and he's unable to get it. And I may not even realize it, but there is a frustration or a irritation that might come in the voice, and he will stop you and he will say, "Mama, आपको पता है ना, मुझे थोड़ा ज़्यादा time लगता है." It is unbelievably humbling what that expression does to you. You realize that he has the maturity that you lacked at that moment in time in understanding the situation. And it has happened to me. And I'm sure it happens to all of us. Vihan, I don't apprise him of a problem, but I do nudge him towards the right direction. None of our kids are going to listen to us if we ask them to do something. They have to find the path themselves, but I'd say Vihan is completely aware of his shortcomings.
Uh, I think there are a lot of lessons that as parents we take back home. I think first and foremost is the acceptance, and acknowledging that there is a situation that we need to deal with rather than hiding behind it, or just saying that okay fine it's there but not really
Or
paying
feeling
attention to it,
ashamed about it.
or feeling
The
ashamed. Absolutely,
Because
you're very
the
right.
kid is not going to be empowered unless you feel confident that you can show the world that even if he lacks, he's your kid and you're proud of him. I think I've seen that in so many mothers whose kids don't do well, that it's something that I would really, really, really want to call out on. You have to be proud of your child. You have to be.
Yes, absolutely. And I think each of us has their own ability, and at the same time we also have our disability. We cannot be good in anything and everything, but yes, as long as we are progressing in the right direction, making that effort to learn. And honestly, if I'm saying all this is also as I am also learning, in the process of growing as a mother. No, there was no rule book that came for, even for me or for that matter for any one of us. And I think the way things were during our time, the way our parents dealt with us, cannot be cut copy paste for our kids, because that
Absolutely.
child is different. I or you as a child were different. Our circumstances, our situations were different. So I think that acceptability, that the change is the only thing which is constant. We need to accept that, and I think that's the only way that we can grow forward. So what I now I take back from you is that, one, we need to accept. Two, we don't need to compare ourselves with anybody else.
Absolutely.
We are unique in our own ways. And yes, God has gifted mouth to people. They will say what they want to. But I think if we are empowered, as you said, that's the only way we'll be able to empower our children, whether
Absolutely.
they are the neurotypical ones or the specially able children, doesn't matter. And I think it is also very important that each one of us just doesn't talk about inclusivity, but we also exhibit it. I,
True.
I remember having a conversation with someone a few years back where they said that, uh, people should be inclusive and they should accept the way, my child is. So I asked the person, are you willing to allow your child to be with the neurotypical one? So there is resistance from both sides, actually. So I think we all need to overcome this, and let people say what they want to. It's not going to change anything for us. It is us and the child who can actually make a difference. So, Nava, I think all this that you spoke, shows that the character that Nava has, the woman of substance that you are. And Yes, it is human to lose patience, to get bogged down, to get frustrated. We all do. And each one of us is entitled to. But yes, the reminders that we get, the way Vihan gives you that reminder, or sometimes my daughter comes and tells me, Mama, मैं छोटी हूँ, आप
True.
इतना मत expect करो. So the kids, they teach us. They are our greatest teacher.
Yeah, they
And
do.
as Nava says, that motherhood is work in progress. And I don't think we really need to dwell so much into the woman leader that Nava is, because her clarity in thought, the way she is approaching, the way she has tackled with situations, I think tells us that she's an amazing woman leader. And yes, Kamalji, the same mouth, same tongue, but different brains, different thinking patterns. Absolutely right. So, Nava, um, you know, before I let you go today, and I'm sure there'll be lots that we can talk about with you. And for a lot of you, let me also tell you that Nawa's story was also covered by the Times of India, where it mentioned, Mother shines, so does the sun shines. So, we all can shine bright provided we want to. So the question is, do we need to hide behind or come forward, talk about it, work upon it, and proceed further? So I want to read a few lines for you. So while I was
Absolutely.
listening to you and understanding more about you, so far we've had very casual conversations, different conversation, but today was absolutely amazing and very different.
Same
So
here.
I'm going to read these a small poem for you, which obviously I wrote keeping myself in mind, but I think it befits you. So I hope you like it. So it's in Hindi. It's okay, right? Hindi is
Yes,
fine. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. I need to get the old lady needs to get her specs back.
Mhm.
मैं सवारी हूं अपनी जिंदगी की गाड़ी की. मैं सवारी हूं अपनी जिंदगी की गाड़ी की. सारथी भी हूं. मैं सवारी हूं अपनी महत्वाकांक्षाओं की, ख्वाबों की, उड़ान की. मैं सवारी हूं उन सब की जिनकी उम्मीद मुझ पर है टिकी. मैं सवारी हूं हर उस औरत की और बच्चे की जो खुली आंखों से ख्वाब देखते हैं, अपने सपनों को पूरा करने का दम रखते हैं. मसीहा नहीं, नहीं हूं मैं तो बस एक जरिया हूं. सवारी हूं तुम्हें तुम्हारी मंजिल तक ले जाने की. सवारी हूं तुमको आत्मनिर्भर बनाने की. सवारी हूं मैं तुम्हारी वित्तीय साक्षरता की, बिकॉज आई रोट फॉर माई सेल्फ, सो फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी कम्स देयर. आओ कि मैं तुम्हारे लिए रुकी हुई हूं, तुम्हें तुम्ही से मिलवाने के लिए रुकी हुई हूं. एक को भी मंजिल हासिल करवा दी तो समझूंगी कि मेरी जिंदगी का मकसद पूर्ण हुआ, इस जहां में मेरे आने का मतलब पूर्ण हुआ. अगर हर इंसान एक दूसरे के लिए सवारी बन जाए तो ये जहां कितना खूबसूरत बन जाए. So for all of us, we need to be that helping hand. We need to support each other, come forward, be there, encourage. So for a change, stop criticizing someone to the extent of being cynical, but just be there and empathize. I think that's the key. So thank you so much, Nava, for this amazing conversation. But as a हमारी प्रथा है मदरहुड क्लब की, बिफोर आई लेट यू गो, I'd like you to give one piece of advice to parents, to moms, that you feel has worked wonderfully for yourself as a mother.
So I'll begin by saying, Ekta, that was a wonderful poem. You didn't pause so that we could say that. So that was really, really, really awesome poem. And yes, it's applicable to all of us. I'm no one to give advice because everybody's journey is different, Ekta. But I think acceptance of self and acceptance of the child is the biggest motherhood lesson that I have learned till today. If I learn something beyond this, I will let you know. But till today, I think just accept yourself and accept your drawbacks and your shortcomings, and similarly accept your kids' shortcomings and their drawback. I think that's the only thing that would lead us forward.
Wonderful. And I think that's the best piece of advice that we can give to each other, that the moment we accept ourselves, the moment we accept things around us, it actually opens the way, or it paves the way towards achieving something that you really want to. Because if you don't know where the shortfall is, where the shortcoming is, you would never know where you wish to go. Oh my God, that's like financial planning. But yes, that's the reality. जहाँ है, अगर वही नहीं पता तो कहाँ जाना है वो कैसे पता चलेगा. So beautiful message. And yes, accept your child the way he or she is, and let's go all out to be that wind beneath their wings and allow
Absolutely.
them to fly. So thank you so much, Nava, for
Thank you.
being a part of the hashtag Inspire Inclusion conversation. And for everyone else, we are going to continue the Inspire Inclusion conversations with a few more empowered women during the month of March. So stay tuned. And one is going to come up as soon as tomorrow, where Ela will be engaging with yet another powerful woman. So see you all tomorrow. Till then, stay safe, take care. And thank you, Nava, once again for this amazing conversation and
Thank you.
lovely interacting with you. And thank you, everyone who joined us, conveyed your blessings for Vihan. And we are all very sure that Vihan will do very well in life. And you are definitely doing an amazing job to nurture the beautiful human that he has shaped into and will continue to shape.
Thank you for having me, Ekta. Just loved being here today.
Awesome. So, everyone, see you all. Take care. Signing off for today. This is Ekta Sehgal Malhotra, founder Motherhood Club. And keep showering your love, blessings to one another. Keep inspiring each other. Let's actually work towards inclusivity in any and every form. And above all, inspire the person you see in the mirror every single day. As they say, charity begins at home. Why not first inspire ourselves by the person who we are and then move ahead? Think about it till we meet again. Everyone, take care. Bye bye.